Okay, so we want to add some sound effects into our level. So I'm in my test level here, and what we're going to do is add in a new object that will actually control these sound effects. So I'm going to first of all create an empty object that we're going to call SFX Manager. If I could type properly, that'd be nice too. And we're going to grab from our audio files and the SFX folder, I'm going to grab each of these and drag them into our scene one by one, like so. I'm going to make each of them a child of the SFX Manager. And I'm going to make sure I turn off play on awake, because we don't want it to automatically play all these sounds, because if we did, when we hit play, it'll just do all those sounds at the exact same time. So we don't want that. And one thing I do want to do just before I do anything else is get this explosion and set the volume to be 0.5, because the explosion sound effect that we're using here is actually quite a bit louder than the other stuff. So we just want to turn that one down, relatively speaking, to the other ones. So then we've got all our sound effects there in place. What we then need to do is make a way to control them. So let's create a script. We're going to create a C# script called SFX Manager. And we're going to attach that obviously to the SFX Manager object. So let's pop that on there, and then let's open this up. And now we're obviously going to want to be able to access this sound effects from lots of different scripts. We're going to want them all to be able to play different sounds and things like that. But we could make it so that those individual scripts, like for example, we're going to have the board manager tell us when to play the sound effect for shattering gems. We could tell the board to just find the SFX Manager when the game is running, and that would work perfectly fine. But we're going to do something a little bit different, just as an example of another way you can do things. And we're going to create what's called a singleton. So a singleton is one version of this that can only ever exist at any particular time. And we know there's only ever going to be one sound effects manager in our scene. So what we're going to do is say, within the sound effects manager class, we're going to create a public static SFX Manager that we're going to call instance. And then as soon as the game starts running in the awake function, we're going to say the instance variable is equal to this. Now, because we've made this is a static function, static means that it's basically accessible from anyone just by calling the sound effects manager class. So one little drawback of using the static is that this is something that won't be visible in the inspector over here anyway. Well, it's not necessarily a drawback, you don't need to see it anyway. But when it compiles here, you'll see, although we made it public, there's no reference to that instance here. It's just something that's stored in memory. And it allows us to be able to have any single object that we have that's all by itself is easily accessible. So when we set it to be this one, we're saying, hey, this is the sound effects manager that's currently running at the moment. So with that in mind then, we can access this from other scripts, and we'll do that in a moment. But of course, we're going to need some things that we want those other scripts to be able to do on this one. So we're going to create references to those audio sources first of all. So we're going to have public audio source. So audio source is the type of component that these are. They say they have an audio source component. So public audio source will have a gem sound, we'll have an explode sound, we'll have a stone sound, because the stones sound different when it's bursting as well. And then finally we'll have a round over sound, so a little sound effect to play when we finish the round. Then we need to set up some functions to handle these things. We're going to create, first of all, a public void to play when a gem breaks. So what we're going to do is, when this function is called, we're going to make it play the sound effects. So the gem sound effect, we're going to say gem sound dot play. And that's great, that's perfectly what we wanted to do. But what would happen if the gem sound effect is already playing and then we ask it to play again? If we tell it to play twice in really quick succession, what will actually happen is, if it's already playing, it'll just continue playing the sound. So we won't get this style of having two kind of sounds happening. What we actually want to do is, right before we play it, is tell it to just stop playing at the same time. So we say stop. If you're already playing, stop. And then when we say play again, it'll always play from the beginning of the sound effect. So that's perfectly fine. One other thing we want to do is that we want to change how this sounds ever so slightly. So when you have a sound effect that gets played a lot in a game, if it sounds the exact same every single time, that will be really kind of tiring on your ears, and it makes it, and if you do it for a little while, it becomes a sound that gets really annoying for your players. So you don't want that. So one way to get around that is to add some variety to your sound effects. So you can have, maybe you would have 4 or 5 different gem sounds that all sound slightly different. And that would work perfectly fine too. You could have that. We could have an array of gem sounds and make it pick an individual one. But we've only got one sound to use here. So a nifty little trick that I've used a lot in my own games is to change the pitch of the sound. So the pitch controls whether it sounds slightly higher or sounds a little bit lower. Not in terms of volume, but in terms of the kind of tone of it. It's like a little bit more high-pitched or a little bit more low-pitched. So how we do this is just say gem sound dot pitch is equal to random dot range. So we're going to pick a random number between 0.8 and 1.2. So 1 is how the sound would sound at a normal value, and 0.8 and 1.2 is how it would sound at different amounts. Or sorry, it will affect the sound to make it sound more random and sound like we actually have a variety of these gem sounds when it's actually just the one sound being adjusted slightly. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for our gems breaking, and we're going to do the same thing for a couple of these other sounds as well. So for the explosion, we're going to say play explode, and here we're just going to say this is the explode sound that should play. Again, we want to do the same, adjusting the pitch, and then we want to make it play. So stop, adjust the pitch, and then make it play. Then we're going to have the stone breaking. So stop the stone sound, adjust the pitch, and then tell the stone sound to play. And then finally we're going to have one last one, so public void for play round over, and this is only going to have one thing in it. Now technically, if you wanted to, when you want to call this, you could just look at the actual round over sound and tell it to play that one, but we're just going to create a function for it because we've done it for all the other ones, and we're going to say round over sound dot play. Now the reason we're doing this is because the round over sound should only ever play once when the round ends, so we're not worried about it repeating, and we're definitely not worried about adjusting the pitch of it, because again, it's only going to play once and it's not going to be something that annoys the player. Okay, so that's great, but now we need to set when all these sounds play. So let's do our play round over here. Let's go to our round manager, and we know that we have our win check here, which determines what type of win we have, and it does all this stuff and it sets the screen to be active. So what we're going to do right at the bottom here is just say on the sound effects manager, and this is how this is where the instance comes in really handy for us to be able to access. So we just say on the sound effects manager script dot instance, so whatever the static instance is that we've set to be stored, on the static instance, so the exact sound effects manager that we have in our scene at the moment, call the play round over function. So that will play the round over sound. And then we need to do the same thing in our board script. So in the board script, when we destroy our matched gem, so before we instantiate the destroy effect and we actually destroy the gem itself, we're going to go in here and we're going to say if our gem that we're going to destroy, so all gems at position.x and position.y, if the type of that gem is gem.gemtype.bomb, so if it's a bomb, then play the bomb sound effects. So sound effects manager dot instance dot play explode. Let's just fix that bit, and then we're going to say else. So otherwise, well, we're going to do another if check. We're going to say if, but this time we're going to say, instead of checking if it's a bomb, check if it's a stone, because the stone is another unique variant that we have. And if it's a stone, well then play the stone break sound. But otherwise, the thing we're destroying is not a bomb, it's not a stone, it must be a gem. So play the sound effects manager .instance.play gem break. Okay, so we'll save this. Let's go back into Unity, and all that stuff should be working nicely for us now. We just need to go to our sound effects manager, and let's get I need to assign these things in here. So put the gem break in there, we're going to put the stone break in there, and the level complete in there. So if we play now, we get a nice breaking sound when that happens. We get the bomb. There we go, we get the bomb sound. More gems breaking. And you can see we're playing this sound, but the sound only plays once, because although we've got multiple gems requesting the sound, every single one of them is just resulting in the same one instance of a sound playing. So if you had multiple copies of the sound playing at the same time, you get this really loud effect. So this is why we use the sound effects manager, to make sure it only happens that one time. Okay, so we've got those sounds playing. Let's just quickly make our round end so we can get the round over music. There we go. If we go back out to the level select now and go to this one, we're going to have a problem here because there's no sound effects manager in our scene here. So we need to make sure that this sound effects manager should be a prefab, like so. And we're going to make sure that this is something we include in all our levels from this point on. So let's go into our scenes that we've created. We'll just save our test level here. We're going to go in here and we're going to grab that sound effects manager, pop that in there, go to level 2, pop the sound effects manager in there as well. And from this point on, this is the last major thing we need to add into our multiple levels. So there won't be anything else that we need to add to our levels. From this point on, you can just go and make your own fun levels to add to your game. So now let's play this one that has some stones at the bottom, and if we blow them up like so, we get a little bit of stone sound mixed in there with that explosion. So perfect, that's our sound effects and our music all working nicely in our game, and we're effectively at the point now where the game is as complete as we can make it.